So today what we're going to make is we're going to make a sweet corn and fish curry. So the first thing I'm going to do is prepare some of my vegetables. So I've got my red onion here. I just need to finely dice this. So just slice it through the middle, halfway, and then I'm just going to use half an onion. And then we need to take the outer skin off. So just peel off the outer skin. Now, when we dice it, you just hold it through the bridge and you're going to slice it through, but you're not going to slice it right through to the end. You want it to be held together. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm just slicing it almost a finger distance away from the end there. Turn it around this way and then just slice it that way. So you can see that the onion's being held together, not falling apart. Right, when you're scraping the onion away, scrape with the back of the knife, not the blade, because that will cause the blade to become blunt. So we've got our onion ready to go. Now we're going to put a clove of garlic in there. So we need to take the skin off this as well. So just squish it under the blade of the knife. That splits it. And then we can just peel off that skin. Okay, now we just need to chop that finely. And you don't need to be too fussy about how finely you chop this. Okay, so there's my garlic. If you wanted to add more garlic, you can. And now we're going to put some fresh ginger into this as well. So to remove the skin off the ginger, you can just take the edge of a teaspoon and rub it down the side. Or you can use a peeler if you wanted to. Or sometimes you don't even bother. Depends what you're wanting to do. So we're just going to finely grate the ginger. The quantities are on the recipe, but you can add as much or as little as you like according to the flavour that you're trying to achieve. Also here we've got some vegetable stock, and I'm going to add into that some coconut cream. This is different from coconut milk. I prefer coconut cream. It's a little bit more fattening, but it's lovely and rich in flavour. And it just gives your curry a thicker consistency. So just add that through there, let that settle for a bit. Right, so now we're going to cook our onions and garlic very carefully. And I'm just going to turn on my pan so that it's on a low heat, and I'm just going to pop these onions into there and the garlic, and I'll pop the ginger in too. Now when you're cooking your onions and your garlic, you don't want to cook this at too high a heat that they burn. Because if you burn your onions and they become brown, they'll become bitter. You just want to cook them gently so they become soft, and then they'll retain their sweetness. So that'll probably take a couple of minutes to get that up to the right consistency. So the next thing I'm going to do is prepare my red chilli. So we need to take the end off that, and I'm going to slit it down the middle. And you'll see that it's got the seeds in there, and there's that white or that paler membrane. Now it's not just the seeds that are spicy, it's also the membrane. So you need to, depending on how hot you want it really, but if you want it less hot, remove that membrane. If you want a little bit more spicy, just keep some of that membrane in there. Now I think today we'll probably only need that much, so I'll just pop that over to there. And then you're just going to finely slice this as well, or dice it. Now when you're adding your chilli, you must take care that you don't add too much to start off with, because if it's too hot to start with, you can't cool it down. So just add a little bit, then taste it, and if you think it's could be a little bit hotter or spicier, add a little bit more. Take that over to here. Right, So into my pan of onions, garlic and ginger, which is nicely softened and there's some lovely fragrances coming from here, I'm going to add a little bit of our turmeric. Turmeric is a lovely spice. It gives it a rounded flavor, not too spicy, but just adds another dimension to the flavor. And some curry powder. And again, if you don't know how spicy you want it, just start off with a little bit, and then you can add more later on. Just mix that in, and mix that so that, and heat it so that it's warmed up and you can smell those extra fragrances coming off the pan. And that means it's cooking through. And it's just toasting all those flavors. Right, so from there we're going to add our stock with our coconut cream in there. It's such a yummy, easy curry to make. And as that heats through, that coconut cream will dissolve. And then I'm going to add my fish. Now I've used haddock here today. If you wanted to, and you're a vegetarian, you could use tofu. But you can also use a basa fillet, cod, even smoked haddock is delicious in this as well. And I'm going to add a few of these chilies. I'm not going to add the whole lot, just in case it's too spicy. So we're just going to let that bubble away for a little bit and let that fish cook through. And once it's just about cooked through, we're going to add our green beans. And they'll cook just until they've still got a little bite to them. Okay, so the fish is almost cooked there. It's been bubbling away. Now I'm going to put some green beans in there, which need to be top and tailed. Now all I do to top and tail these is, rather than going like this, which I'm not a very patient cook, but I'm just going to take them in my hand, knock them down to the bottom there so that all the tops are on there, that end. And then you might waste a little bit, but just chop the whole lot off like that. And the same on the tail end. There we have it. What I'm going to do now is slice those in half. Right, so we've got green beans going in. A little bit more flavor, and that's the healthy side to it. And I'm going to put some sweet corn in there as well. So you could use canned sweet corn or frozen sweet corn. I've just used some frozen sweet corn there. Mix that through. And once those beans have almost cooked through, I'm going to taste it to see if it needs any salt or pepper. That's what we call seasoning. And then it'll be ready to serve with some rice. So I'll just let that bubble through a little bit more, and then we'll taste it later. My curry is all cooked through now. My beans have just cooked through, so they've still got a little bit of a bite. Fish is nicely cooked through. So I'm going to serve this with some rice, which we've just cooked on the hob. So just a little bit in the center. And then this lovely curry, and you can see the sweet corn there. Just a delicious fusion of flavors. And the chili showing through. Okay, so there we have our curry. Yeah, so I hope you enjoy that. For me, it's one of my favorite curries, so I'm looking forward to it.